Welcome back to Science Corner Tutorials. Thank you so much for joining us. Get ready, let's get started. This is our first video, and this video basically introduces us the first topic that we're going to look at. And the first topic that we're going to look at is what we call indices. Indices. Okay, so under indices, what we need to understand first, what that is important, is for us to understand the laws of indices. So the importance of us understanding the laws of indices is that it will lay a basic foundation for us to understand and to be able to solve more complex problems that we might encounter in future when we are dealing with greater complex mathematical problems. So hence I urge you guys to pay strict attention as I'll be going through the laws of indices. If you don't understand anything, please just comment in the comment section, ask a question, then I'll try to explain to you. Maybe I'll do another video, or I have to explain to you individually so that you can get to understand these basics before we dive deep into more complex problems. So the first concept, the first law that we're going to discuss is the law of indices that states that if we have got x raised to the power of b, right, multiplied by x raised to the power of a, this is equal to x to the power of a plus b, right? So this is the first law of indices. So for example, right, as an example here, if we've got 2 to the power of 3 multiplied by 2 to the power of 4. By using this first law of indices, this is similar to 2 to the power of 7. So basically, when you've got a multiplication sign here, what you simply need to do is that you add your two powers. So it's x to the power of b times x to the power of a. Then you're going to say x to the power of a plus x to the power of b. Then you do an example that I gave you here. So that is the first law that you have to keep in mind. Then our second law that you're going to apply is when you're given now x to the power of a divided by x to the power of b. This is similar or equivalent to x to the power of a minus b. For example, if I've got an equation that says 2 to the power of 3 divided by 2 to the power of minus 3, this will give you 2 to the power of 6. So what I want you guys to understand here is that if you've got a division sign like this one that we have here, and you've got a similar base, right? X is our base, which is the similar base. You just take the base here, then you add, you subtract the powers when you've got a division sign. So it's x, right? Then you say a here minus b. So an example that we did here is 2, then you say 3 minus, but remember I've got a minus 3 here. So we've got a minus 3 here. It means that you now apply the laws that we apply in directed numbers. So it's 3 minus minus 3, which will give you 2 to the power of 6, right? Then the third law that you want to discuss is x to the power of 0. It will give you 1. So any number that you're going to raise to the power of 0, the result of that will be 1. For example, if you are given here 2 to the power of 0, 1. 100 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. 1000 the power of 0 is equal to 1, right? Then the law number 4 that you're going to have. If you are given x to the power of a, all this in brackets being raised to the power of b is equal to x to the power of a, right, times b. For example, if you are given a question that says 2 to the power of 3, right, all of this being raised to the power of 2. This is similar to 2 to the power of 6, right? So x to the power of a, all right, all of that being raised to the power of b is similar to x to the power of a, b, right? Then, for example, we've got 2 to the power of 3, all this being raised to the power of 2 is equals to 2 to the power of 6. So I wanted to explain a very important concept here. Remember that in our previous example, we've mentioned that, if x being raised to the power of a, right, on example 4, we've mentioned that if x being raised to the power of a, all this, the power of b, is equal to x, the power of a, b, right? For example, if you've got 2 raised to the power of 3, all this being raised to the power of 2 is similar to 2 the power of 6. Just multiply the two powers. Now, I want you to notice a very important difference, and this is where most students make mistakes here. So this one, when you're given now, for example, on our example number 5, when you're given minus x the power of a, this one in bracket, right? All this being raised to the power of b. This is equal to minus x the power of a, b. So I want you to note here that the negative sign that we have here, this negative sign here, is not affected by our brackets. Hence, when we multiply the x the power of a times b here, the negative sign is not being affected, right? We are not including it. This is different now. This is different from a question which says minus x the power of a, all this being raised to the power of b. When you're now doing this, it means that it will give you what, minus x the power of a, right, b. I want you to note this very important example, because it seems like it is similar when you're doing this now before you actually put the a good example. For a good example, for example, on the first one here would be when we say minus 2 the power of 2, right, all this being raised to the power of 2. This will give you minus 2 to the power of 4. So the negative sign here, which is outside the bracket, still remains there. But now when you've got on the second part here, when you've got minus 2 the power of 2, all this being raised to the power of 4, this now will give you 2 to the power of 4, because minus times minus, it will give you a plus sign. So this is where most students make a lot of mistakes. So I want you guys to take a note of that and do not make such a mistake when dealing with indices. Are we together? Okay. Now, moving on to the next law, law number 6, that states that minus x to the power of minus 9, right, is similar, minus a, is similar to 1 over x the power of a. So when you want to remove the negative sign here of the power, you just raise the whole equation. Just say 1 over. This one here takes away the negative sign. So for example, when you have 2 the power of minus 3, this is similar to 1 over 2 the power of 3, which is equal to 1 over 8. So these are the 6 laws, guys, that we have discussed today. So on our next video, we're going to be giving you questions, and we're going to give solutions as well as to how best we can apply these laws to solve real problems. But I want you to revise these laws, make sure that you understand them, so that when we post our next video, when we do our next video, you're going to easily apply these laws and solve complex problems. Thank you.